Valheim has to be one of the biggest success stories of not just 2021, but the last 10 years in general. A 5-man team made an IP that became one of the most played games on Steam for weeks running, and it just doesn't seem to be stopping. So how did the game get to here? How has the last few weeks changed development, and what can we expect from the future of this runaway success? Let's talk about Valheim, 1 month later. On the 2nd of February 2021, we got our first glimpse and the release of the new open-world Viking survival game. Valheim took players into a brutal exploration where people would find secrets and quests in this procedurally generated purgatory inspired by Viking culture. Battle, build and conquer your way to a saga worthy of Odin's patronage. And I remember when I saw this, I was told by someone in the comments that this game existed, and I searched it up on Steam, expecting it to be another one of these historical games that I would cover for one video on the channel and that'd be it. Then I saw something interesting. It had like 4,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews. Everyone was saying this was amazing, and it'd only been out a day or so. So quite naturally, I picked up the game and loaded it up. I put up a server with some people on my Discord, and we played and played and played, fighting different bosses, building villages up, building fleets, and it was some amazing experience. However, the base game didn't feel all that unique. It felt like your pretty generic build 'em up survival, but this time with friends. Yet I feel like it was the unique finishes that made this game as successful as it is. The graphics style, using this voxel pixelated look, which makes the game stand out on any screenshots and thumbnails that people see of this game. The massive world, a world that we haven't really seen since the likes of a game like Minecraft. The freedom to explore, to go wherever you want at whatever time you want. The progression through killing bosses and leveling up, getting new armor, weapons, and mining for new materials and ores and minerals. A lot of these seem like generic things that you'd expect in many survival games, yet Valheim did it differently. They did it simplistically yet so polished, to the point where it felt like it was a finished game even in early access. However, even though the 2nd of February was the release of Valheim, it wasn't the beginning of Valheim. If you want to go and check back, I did a video a few weeks ago talking about Valheim's younger brother, how the game has been around since 2018 in various versions with different names, such as Fade, or the itch.io version that was called Valheim, but this was before it was a paid game on Steam, and I actually have potentially a version of that itch.io early copy of Valheim that I will hopefully make a video on in the next few days. However, this game had years of development from one developer. They brought back feedback to improve and increase the likelihood of this game blowing up on its release. Then more people were brought on to help develop it, and upon release, and even now, it's a 5-man team. And you'd think since the release that they would have expanded upon the team massively, but they've said that they don't feel the need to, that they feel like they've got a game they're proud of and they know how they're going to approach it in the future with the team that they have. I mean, the game got 1 million sales within the first week. It then went on to 2 million sales within the second, 3 in the third, and you kind of get how the picture went. Since last week, people have spent more than 15,000 years playing Valheim. It's currently the 5th most played game on the Steam platform, and this came out of nowhere. There was no build-up, there was no massive hype. It was a small community and a small development team that somehow put it out into the world, and it just connected with people. Even now, Valheim is number 39 in the best user-reviewed games on Steam of all time, and it has been out for just over a month. They have managed at this point to get 1 million sales per member of development team. Now that is unheard of. But since the release, we've got our generic patches and bug fixes. There's been much improvements to the multiplayer servers. I know, especially at the start, only the first 5,000 dedicated servers would show up on the list, and I think they're working on improving that and making it much easier to connect to your friends' servers and playing with each other. And they've added so many new little fixes that have helped improve this experience. But this month has gone by pretty quickly, I think it's safe to say, and I think the developers have done a good job of keeping the game up to date and keeping people playing. The player base still, even a month later, hasn't died off, which is more than we can say for other games that have come out this year. However, we've spoken about what's happened since its release, but what's next for the game? How are they going to keep people coming on and keep people coming back to this Viking epic? Let's talk about the roadmap that they have recently released. Now, very little information about the specifics of the updates has come out, but we do know the titles and can get some basic idea of what we can expect next from the game. First, we have the Hearth and Home update. Now, this is an update that should be coming out very, very soon. It's been stated that hopefully it will be around March, so the time I'm making this video, yet there is no official confirmation of the release date. But the Hearth and Home update will be adding in more food preparation with recipes and the way that you live in your home villages. We see a lot of exploration and it is a massive part, but having a base that you can come back to after every boss fight, after every dungeon, after every hunting mission, it's important to have a place that you and your friends can regroup. And this is what the Hearth and Home update is looking at, adding in more options for building, architecture, and looking to progress those systems. Next, we'll be seeing the Cult of the Wolf update, which as you can tell is less subtle. Moving on to more of the exploration and combat with some potential new enemies and bosses that you can fight. They have hinted that there may be some mini bosses coming in later at some point for the different biomes that they have, but it has been confirmed that with each new biome that comes out, there will be a new big boss, as I'll get into a little bit later. But after the Cult of the Wolf, we head to the oceans with the ships and sea update. Of course, this will focus on water-based gameplay. The land is so rich, there's so much you can do with on-land playing in Valheim, whether it's going into dungeons or doing certain quests, or it's hunting animals in order to get the trophies to bring out the bosses that you can finally take down and become victorious to put them on their totems. However, the same cannot be said for the ocean. This water world seems fairly barren at this point, and the ships and the sea update looks like it's going to be improving that to no end. They want to completely populate the oceans, giving players way more to do out there. There are some basic monsters that are in the waters that you may come across at some points, but there aren't proper bosses yet. There aren't real quests or maybe even underwater shipwrecks that you have to explore. These could be new things that could be added into populating these oceans. There's also been talks of proper ship customizations, being able to make it your own, add little bits here and there and accessories to become a true Viking warrior fleet. Then we have the Mistlands, one of the biggest updates that they've been teasing that's coming to Valheim. Now, might I add, all these updates, whilst they won't be in the next few weeks, they hopefully should all be in 2021, which is optimistic, but we've seen what the Valheim team can do so far with such few developers. But the Mistlands will bring in completely new enemies, new items, resources, and a whole new boss, to expand this biome to be as rich and feature heavy as all the ones we have so far. As I did mention, each new biome that's going to be added in will have a new boss and enemies that you'll be able to fight. But within these, there'll also be mini bosses that you can come across, that you can gain different resources and achievements from taking down. Their current plan is to have 9 biomes in the complete game with 9 different bosses, which as I said is optimistic, but from what we've been told so far in their plans and their roadmaps, I don't doubt for a second that this won't happen. But I think it's safe to say overall, Valheim has a very, very bright future. For a game like this that has such a small development team and didn't really have the promotion that these AAA studios get, somehow it is still in the top 5 most played games on the platform, and this doesn't seem to be slowing down. People are still talking about it every day. People are still playing it every day. The amount of amazing things that the community have done to showcase with buildings and gameplay styles is mind-blowing, and it seems to be continuing. Valheim has managed to make a community that is dedicated, and it doesn't seem to me, at least, like one of these fad games like Among Us or Fall Guys. I don't think this player base is going to die off in the same way, or at least not anytime soon. But I really want to hear your opinions on it. Do you think this game is just another craze that's going to die off in the next few months, or do you think Valheim could actually stand the test of time? With the roadmap that they promised for the future and the way the development has gone on and the community has been built up within the last month, to me it seems like they have a really solid foundation to create something that lasts. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it, leave a dislike if you didn't, but make sure you subscribe for more content and updates on games like Valheim. But until then, I will see you in the next one.